Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Fact or Cap Paranormal Files. My name is Wes. This is Topshelfers, and in this series, we dive into paranormal videos across the web and decide whether or not they are real or bullshit. Today, we have two special guests. I'm super excited. We have KJ and Summer. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
So, I'm curious with you two. We'll start with KJ. What is your just opinion in general of paranormal?
I believe. I think I'm a firm believer. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about it, and yeah,
And do you have any personal experiences?
I have quite a few, but I feel like that's a YouTube video for another day.
And Summer, you've been on the stream and podcast and everything that I've done for the past almost close to a decade. Um,
Hell yeah.
what's your paranormal
Yeah.
experience and opinion?
I definitely think that there's stuff that we don't understand. Like, I can't say whether I know what anything is. There are definitely people that are more knowledgeable or that have stronger opinions, like, oh, this is a mimic situation. Oh, this is a this situation. Like, I don't know that much in detail. Like, I've watched a lot of people do like videos where they like hang out in haunted areas or like they talk about their weird experiences. I've really only had like maybe one or two things where I was like, that what? um, like, I mean, one time that I like really remember is I just remember being like in a situation where I just like suddenly was like, I feel like my grandpa is here, and then like I could like smell him. It was really weird. Um, but like that's really the only thing that I've had like super where I was like, hmm, I don't know about that. But like I don't know, like I think other paranormal stuff, like I'm into like tarot and stuff, so I don't know. I think there's lots of stuff out there. Like I think like I've watched some documentaries about like possibly like alien stuff, but I definitely am
Hmm.
like not someone that like reads super heavily into those like um categories, but
Gotcha.
I am open to the possibilities.
Yeah, I go back and forth. I've had my handful of different experiences. Me and a group of buddies, we used to go out looking for it. And unlike what popular opinion would think, the amount of times that we went out compared to the amount of times that I've actually had anything weird happen is very far and few between. I did have some very interesting experiences at Skinwalker Ranch, and this was 2013, 2014, well before this new shitty
You
TV
mean to
show.
tell me you went to Skinwalker Ranch and did not invite me?
I mean, yeah, this was like, almost 12 years ago
Wes.
now. I know.
Oh my god. I
Yeah.
didn't know you went.
I've been 5 or 6 times now.
Oh my
That's
god, that is
crazy.
so cool.
Yeah.
Hey
There's
yo, YouTube idea. Get a bunch of us together and go to Skinwalker Ranch.
any time we've streamed out there and caught stuff on our live stream. It's
That's crazy. Let's
yeah.
go.
There's something out there, and I can't put it into words. What I always tell people is, on the right night in the right area, aside from potentially seeing stuff in the sky, which is what we caught on camera, along with a weird picture, but that's a different story. It feels like, I always explain it as, it feels like a toddler standing on your shoulders the whole time you're out there. There's this pressure that you can't explain that is just there. And I don't know if it's just you build yourself up so many times and you're kind of paranoid, you're in this crazy spot and you have anxiety. But I've gone out there and not had the feeling, and I've gone out there and had that feeling. So I just don't, I can't gauge what it is. Aside from Skinwalker Ranch, though, I mean, I've gone, and some of my older buddies, to most of the haunted places in Utah that you could think of, and God, I mean, maybe 3 experiences and 1 experience with a Ouija board at my buddy's house that I can't, still to this day, can't explain. But for putting in probably a couple 100 hours of looking, I really have only had maybe 5 minutes of actual things that I'm like, oh, that's weird. So, but
Fair.
Insane.
yeah, paranormal's a weird one. But uh, I brought you guys here because I love doing this series, and I was kind of on hiatus for a little bit, and I think one way to ramp this series up into a different direction is having other people to bounce opinions off of these paranormal videos in the moment, because I'm I fall on the side of I try not to justify everything as paranormal, you know,
Hmm.
Yeah.
because I feel like that's one thing that happens quite a bit in the paranormal community is people will just, oh, there's a shadow on the wall, it must be a
It's a shadow
ghost.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like with like AI nowadays and how good it's getting.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's hard for you to tell like what's real and what's not.
I also think that one of the things that doesn't get talked about a lot is just baiting the paranormal community for views and content, right? Like it's the paranormal community, I've been a part of it in different ways, but sadly there's a lot of people who are just so hoping and wishing that there's something there that they kind of fall gullible to very obviously not paranormal things, and
Oh yeah.
it leaves them to be baited by content creators pretty
That is
easily.
called paragolia.
Oh, I didn't know there was a word for it.
I didn't
Yeah.
either. But I've definitely like within like people in like the witchcraft like community, people like
At
that
me.
aren't like the people that aren't like, you know, most of the people that I know that practice responsibly like to say like explore every scientific explanation first, and then if all of those things have been explained or can't be explained, then you can explore possible paranormal things. Like a lot of people will say like I'm seeing things, and then it's like, well, maybe you should talk to a doctor about that first.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Well, my
Like there's it's not always paranormal. There's usually always something underlying that's probably going on that you're seeing or happening in your head.
well,
Not to discount other people, but
no, not at
I feel like
all.
there's always something, or usually always something scientific to
Well, and
explain slash back up.
in my personal opinion, I think it's a combination of both things. Because
Yeah.
in my years of researching and trying to figure out what it is, we've proven that the body, we give off energy, we produce energy in different ways, and I don't mean energy like, oh, you have a good vibe about you. I mean like we that's literally what humans do is we produce energy. So
Mm-hmm.
I think where my paranormal opinion stands in today's day and age is I think that in under certain very high level stressors like a murder attempt or other, you know, egregious acts,
Trauma.
that one person's body will produce energy enough that it lingers, that it imprints in an area. And I think that is what maybe we're getting with paranormal. Now, is that energy allow a glimpse into a different dimension? That's what we see visually. Is it lingering energy that can kind of embody itself in whatever the person looked like, or can represent themselves? I just don't think we have the technology to really know, but I do think that there's something going on. I don't think it's a hell and heaven type situation or like a purgatory situation, but I think that there's something that we haven't got there quite yet with technology to be able to be like, oh, it's this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Paranormal is very interesting. So,
There's a lot of takes on that. Yeah.
yeah. So without further ado, let's hop into this video we have here. So I always typically break down Nuke's top 5 videos. There's lots of other people out there too that have really good ones, but he tries to stick to just non-opinion. Here's a paranormal video. What do you think? And I think it's interesting to see what other people will post online saying it's paranormal. So we'll run the first clip and then re-intervene with our opinions. Yeah.
Yep.
Like a plan.
This next clip allegedly comes from CCTV cameras in an unknown city in the Philippines. A woman in a red hoodie is seen walking along a city street, but the CCTV camera image becomes very strange.
Sino nasira yung CCTV natin? Yun na. Check kay Sanchez yung CCTV, bakit yun? Wala yung ulo. Pati yung bangka.
As you can see in the clip, the video seems to glitch in a very bizarre way, making it look as if the woman's head disappears multiple times. But oddly, the rest of the video is perfectly clear. Now, in the Philippines, there's a strange superstition that says that if someone appears in a photograph without a head, it means that that person will soon pass away. Creepily enough, a few minutes later, and this happens.
Ayun, no? Bilis. Ayun, nawala ng play.
The unfortunate woman is accidentally struck by a runaway taxi van, and it is said that she did actually pass away as the result of her injuries, just like the old Filipino superstition says. Now, this clip immediately went viral on Philippines websites and social media, but no one knows the original source of the video, which leaves us to wonder, is this real proof of the paranormal? Or is it just an old malfunctioning CCTV system? Or is it all just a very elaborate hoax? As always, you decide. Night Night.
Okay, so bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how hard this would be, but are you able to like drag it back just barely where we can? Yeah, no, just pause it. Okay, I wanted to see what the date says.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, we can.
23, 25?
Yeah. So.
Let's see if we can see a date earlier.
Yeah, you can't see it except for like in certain
Right there.
parts of the video.
But also tell me why she walks by that exact bus before.
So it is the same date, it looks like.
Yeah, you just can't like.
My biggest thing is even the same person. Because, like, it doesn't look like she's wearing a backpack in the other one, but she's wearing a backpack there. And that looks like a... That also looks like a man's haircut.
The time does
maybe
up though. But also like
Philippines is different than us.
So. Oh, here you go. She's wearing blue jeans here. That guy's wearing black jeans.
Yeah.
Watch. Totally different jeans, totally different.
Oh yeah, the shoes are different too, I think.
Her backpack was light blue.
Yeah. They almost got us.
Almost. I think that's also like a case of paracolia, like feeling like there's something paranormal that happened and there's not.
I think sometimes, so is paragolia, what is it defined as? Is it just the desire?
How do I explain paragolia? It's the brain's way, it's like a trauma response, I guess. It's like the brain's way of trying to explain something that's happening Like if I see shadow people out of the corner of my eye, I'm gonna start seeing shadow people out of the corner of my eye, if that makes sense. Or like if in a dark room your clothing pile that you know is there on your chair, and all of a sudden there's a person standing in your room, but it's
Yeah,
the
looks like a
chair of
person.
clothing. Yeah.
Which
That's
happens like
pareidolia.
in movies. They're like
Mhm.
in a shadow. They're like, oh, there's a person in the room. Then they turn a light on. And it's a jacket on a hanger.
Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. It's like paranormal paranoia, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
It's like your mind playing tricks on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of sounds. I mean, it's not like a mental illness. It's like a common phenomenon that happens to anyone. Like anyone can perceive a pattern where there's not one. It doesn't have to be specifically paranormal. Like you were saying, like you think you see something because your brain just creates a pattern of something that's not there.
Let me see if Google has anything.
Yeah, Google says like the normal cognitive phenomenon where people perceive familiar patterns, especially faces, in random or ambiguous stimuli. It kind of sounds almost similar to, I mean, kind of like when my brain's not remembering the word, hypochondria, when people just think they're sick all the time. Like anything that's a symptom, like, or a sneeze that could be nothing, you immediately assume is something else.
Gotcha. So would you say people would most likely do it as a comfort or as a they want to believe in it so bad that they make it the reality?
I think it's a little bit of both, because sometimes, like, in like a paranormal setting, people don't realize that the pareidolia is happening until later on.
That makes sense, because that's always been my biggest thing about, like, I've gone out with different people in paranormal, haunted places or whatever it is, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, jack shit's happening, because I try to make, like, I don't go out to get scared. I go out to try and find proof, right?
Yeah.
Where I think a lot of people think of ghost hunting as like, I want to go get scared. They want to go and have like a scary night or like be startled by something, so they force themselves to think these things are happening, when in reality we're in an abandoned building that's falling apart. Every little noise you hear isn't a fucking ghost, it's the building like, falling apart.
What's that one app, Randonautica?
Oh yeah.
That's essentially a form of self-induced pareidolia.
I don't know what that app is, but is it similar to like people take
terrifying.
pictures with AI and then they're like, oh, there's a ghost? I'm like, no, you used a picture with AI.
No.
Randonautica is you go on there and
terrifying.
you pick a couple different, like a category, and it gives you a location to go to.
Yeah.
And you go to that location.
If you like look TikToks up, you can see like some like creepy stuff. I know that there's one that I saw the other day on TikTok. They were thinking about like a balloon or whatever, and they had came across like an abandoned building, and there was like a photo on the ground, and it was like a photo of two people in France, I think, and it was like where like the first hot air balloon like lifted off into the air. So
yeah,
another example of people having, or examples of pareidolia, would be like people that see images of Jesus on things
in the bread.
Exactly.
Toast face. Yep. Exactly.
The Cheeto that looks like Harambe.
It's very funny because throughout this series, I've talked about, and I say this for a lot of different categories, and not just paranormal, but it happens a lot in paranormal where my phrase is anything to justify, right?
Exactly.
Is they say or claim anything to justify that their paranormal experience is real, versus maybe it's just Maybe it's
Yeah,
not.
My thing,
Similar.
I don't want to like discount like somebody's experience, but I
Mhm.
feel like there can also be a separate explanation.
Correlation does not equal causation type thing.
Yeah.
There's like a similar thing is like I don't know. I know that I don't know if either of you are familiar with like Christian apologetics,
Hmm.
but basically what Christian apologetics is like it's basically like proving things kind of, but or like justifying why something in the Bible is true. But the problem with it is often it's like a confirmation bias thing. It's like rather than asking the question, is this true? It's why is this true? And then they go in looking for evidence that proves that answer to be true rather than looking at
Not
all
looking
of
at
the
both sides.
factors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's
yeah.
similar like when people go into like paranormal things. They're like, well, this and this and this. And it's like, but did you consider this? And also this? And also this?
Yep.
Funny enough, I put paranormal people and religious people in very close adjacent groups because it is we're talking
Like a
about
spiritual thing that people like to believe in. Yeah.
yeah, well, and
Yeah.
it's also a heavy anything to justify group, and not saying that in a negative way, but just saying that in a
The
almost I
curiosity way.
yeah, but it also comes
Yeah.
back to you almost don't want to be wrong or made a fool of, so you gotta stick to your guns super heavily. It's a very strange feeling. I don't know.
I think that's also like part of like just human nature is like feeling
Yeah.
like that constantly is like you always feel like you need to be right or you want to be right, and it kind of sucks or stings when you get proven wrong,
And you just want
especially if
everything
somebody's
to
gonna
have
be like an
meaning.
asshole about it. Yeah, exactly.
We like to assign meaning to things that maybe don't have meaning or reason.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And I think it gets muddy for me
Yeah.
when it's everything is circled around it. But I wanted to harken back to what you said about, not disregarding people's paranormal experiences. I think for me to even get to the point, aside from like these videos, right? Because we're just judging people we don't know
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah.
But it take for me to really believe paranormal experiences, even if I do in general, is like I have to know the person for a while and understand how they operate, because then
Mhm.
you can really gauge at that point, oh, is this person just bullshitting like they bullshit about everything else, or are they a pretty respectable individual who doesn't lie or bullshit about things on a constant basis? Well, then maybe they did have some weird shit happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even with tarot, like sometimes people use tarot in like therapy. Like
Mhm.
it can be useful to just like when you know what the cards mean, you can use it to just like analyze things that are going on from a different perspective. Like I don't
Mhm.
go into things like when I look at tarot, I'm not like this is telling me the future. It's more like what is a different way that I can think about the situation that I'm like struggling with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With tarot too, it's all about like your intuition and what like jumps out to you, because what might jump out to me, like if I was reading your tarot, what might jump out to me might not jump out to you, so then that could mean something different to me than it would to you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, tarot is one that I think gets a very interesting rap because of how it has been used by individuals in the way that it's not supposed to be used, if that makes sense. Like what you're explaining is you use it as a way to maybe find a different opinion on a situation based off of just this representation on this card makes a lot of sense to me. But then
yeah.
there's people who will use it as a full guide on decision making.
Or just say if they're going to win the lottery. The number of
Yeah.
times I've heard someone tell me that they had someone tell them they were going to win the lottery, I'm like, that person is just an irresponsible tarot reader.
see.
They're telling you that.
I also
I feel like there's a lot of stigma too around like tarot and like pendulums and just stuff like that in general too.
I think what good tarot card situations are is sometimes you just need to hear the thing that you don't want to hear, and sometimes tarot card, in my opinion, brings that up, right?
Exactly. That's why I feel like some people use it in like therapy, and like specifically, like even today someone asked me like what they should do about a situation, and I like asked them to answer a few things first, and I was like, based on what you have told me, I think you should reassess this relationship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're like your own tarot card, Summer.
I think it's used. I think for a lot of people, it's used as a novelty or like a let's see what's
Almost like a
happening.
fad.
Yeah, exactly. But in some instances, it should be looked at more as a tool on your tool belt to just make yourself uncomfortable with situations you're in.
Yeah.
Because I think that's
Yeah.
important too. If you're too comfortable with a situation that you're unsure about, and what I mean by that is like a relationship, for example.
Yeah.
Maybe you do have questions about it, but you don't know how to really get yourself to think about it on a deeper level. You have to be uncomfortable with it, right? You have to
Yeah.
find a way
Even
to
journaling
question
is
it.
good for stuff like that. Like I think of like a lot
Shadow
of people
work?
that do, yeah. People use the word shadow work and they think that it's strictly witchy, but it's really a therapy term. But
I don't know
people
what
have
that
just
is.
turned it into a witchy term.
Shadow work, you're just basically dealing with like your inner self or your shadow self.
The darker things inside you
The
you don't
darker-
like to
yeah.
think about.
Yeah. And a lot of like more of like the witchy, I guess, community on that part will use it to attempt to heal like their inner child or heal like maybe some kind of trauma that they've experienced that they're not like they're generalizing their trauma and not actually dealing with it. So it's kind of like more of like a journaling therapy way or psychological way of putting yourself,
People just
I
think
guess,
that
into
it
that.
is specifically witchy, but it's really
Yeah.
not.
So
Yeah.
to me, it sounds
Because
like
genuinely with that, you're only lying to yourself and you're only going to hurt yourself. So
Mhm.
to me, not knowing what this is at all until just barely, it sounds like to me it is you're trying to do best practices to find either relief or fulfillment, and then the shadow work is like the costume so people can get into it and be comfortable with it.
Yeah, kind of.
yeah, essentially.
Okay, interesting.
It's a lot of journaling for sure.
A lot
Yeah.
of writing. Yeah.
Well, journaling is a very very productive and positive thing to do that a lot of people. I mean, I again never heard of shadow work. You know, that's just a normal thing to write down your feelings or emotions or whatever journaling means to you on a daily basis. So to me, it just sounds like I said, like a costume to get into that.
Yeah.
In
My
a
shadow
sense.
work prompt today that I have to do is what emotion do you avoid the most and why do you think you avoid it?
Oh,
Thanks.
so you have something that just gives you uncomfortable questions.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
Google.
mean, there are a lot of
Pinterest.
like,
interesting.
yeah, like there's lots of like, I mean, like I have like a therapy journal that's like a DBT that like makes me ask myself questions. It's not like shadow work, but there's also like shadow work journals that basically
Yeah.
like have questions to make you like think about things more.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's a lot that you could go in with that, but I think that could also be like a whole other YouTube video for a different day too.
Yes.
My last
But-
question on that though is okay, why is it associated with witch stuff when this sounds like just a very normal
There's
thing?
a stigma with like witchcraft, I guess.
Sure.
That witchcraft bad, witchcraft evil. And I think that that's mainly just like the big like social medias like where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought. Sorry guys.
It's okay. I think one part of it is, and I'm sorry are you Wiccan or just like?
I don't really describe myself as Wiccan because I don't really
Okay, I
follow.
just wanted to check because it might not be a nice thing to say, but like a lot of Wiccan traditions are stolen from
Yes.
other traditions, and I think that shadow work is one of those things that's just been swallowed into the Wiccan, the whole like Wiccan subgenre of
Yes, I agree with that.
witchcraft culture. So it has a tendency to swallow up things and kind of claim it as its own. And I think shadow work has been one of those things that's just kind of been lumped in, especially because like,
Swallowed.
yeah, and in Wiccanism, a lot of times people refer to like their spell books as like a book of shadows, and I think people have a tendency to think that that's the same thing as like shadow work, and it's not necessarily. They aren't the same thing, but I think that
Yeah.
again, like it's just like, I'm not saying every Wiccan ever is that way, but like a lot of the founding people of Wiccanism, like just that's what they did, is they made a religion where they like swallowed other parts, which is how a lot of
Yeah.
religions are formed. And I'm not saying it's right, but
Not saying, yeah. No, I get that. I actually agree with all of what you said.
Yeah, I think we'll have to we'll have to
it's
circle
a
back.
long- yeah, it's
Well,
a
'cause-
lot.
Podcast episode.
Well, I have lots of questions again, like alongside this as well. That like it would spiral us into hours
it'd
of
be a whole other
conversation.
video.
Yeah.
So someone write this down, and we'll circle back around here sometime in the next week or two when we have more time to go down a different rabbit hole.
Oh, show.
Okay, let's hop into this second video here.
Night. A woman named Brandis says that late one night while she and her husband were sleeping, their home security camera caught this strange event at 2:45 in the morning. The family dog perks up as a bright light flashes and what looks like a pale little face seems to peek out of the door. Then a shadowy figure about the size of a child seems to be standing in the hallway before disappearing, just as the little pale face peeks out of the door again. Brandis and her husband Sky have never posted or even experienced anything paranormal, and they say they have no idea what this could be. Something.
Okay, a little bit more of an interesting one.
All I'm gonna say is probably because it is a child.
That was my first my first thought was that we just have a really piss poor camera considering the pixelation everywhere here.
Yeah.
That, or another thing I was thinking is if there's not a child in the house, like honestly, like there could literally be like a power surge. Like there's clearly a light on in that room. Like a power surge could have happened. Like the little white peeking around, that doesn't look like a face to me.
No, it does not.
It also doesn't look like something that a camera would catch. I don't know. It looks...
Yeah. And the fact that there's a dog and the dog is not like absolutely losing its shit right now tells me that it knows who it is. Or what it is, I guess.
Yeah, because it looks like you can see the feet.
The legs, yeah.
Also, like the feet to me don't look child size. They look like adult legs to me.
And this is in super slow-mo, so we can try and get a better idea of what we're seeing here, because you can see some sort of movement there. But even like, that's the funny thing about how poor quality the camera is because like they're not even highlighting like this looks kind of like a face too. They're not talking about this. They could say that this looks like eyes and like a big head. They're not highlighting that. So like it's just all
conjecture of what someone thinks it looks like. Like to me, like that little white thing coming around the corner could just be like a reflection. Like someone could have something in their hand and they're opening the door a little bit and the light's reflecting on the thing in their hand.
Or like a car driving by, because I don't see any windows in this shot.
Yeah.
So there could be like a car driving by,
and they don't tell us what that room is. Like,
yeah,
what is that room?
Well, there's
Need
clearly a
light
light on in that
Yeah,
room,
like there's a
so
light on in there.
Yeah.
you know what I
Like,
almost
the dog noticed it. I'm like, yeah, my dogs respond when they hear a squirrel walk by. Like,
Yeah. Literally my dog barking in the background because he heard a noise.
I also think that maybe there's just someone behind this door, because at some point you can also see it looks like someone walks based off of the shadow line. So that could even just be someone behind the door, and the camera just can't comprehend that many shadows.
Yeah.
it's just not a good camera. Is what it comes
Get a
down
new camera,
to.
guys.
But again, I think this brings up the point that we're talking about. First glance, for a lot of people, they're going to think this is weird and paranormal.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the hardest part about.
I mean, it's weird, sure.
Yeah.
It is weird, yeah, because what am I looking at?
Okay, here's the next one.
Something at the door. Chase Beckstead and his wife Rachel are staying overnight in the house of Rachel's recently deceased grandfather. The elderly man had passed away in the house only 1 month earlier. So the couple is just settling in for the night when suddenly something happens that is downright creepy.
How you doing? You okay?
I don't know.
You a little freaked out?
A little bit.
So, we were just going to bed and we're not... Let me just show you. Like, we've literally had to put the bag up against the door because we're not sure. And like, we're literally just...
Even though there's no draft or air current in the house, the bedroom door begins to randomly move as if it's being quickly pulled back and forth by some unseen force. Understandably, Chase and Rachel are pretty shaken up by the strange, unexplained phenomena. They decide to just pack up their stuff and leave the house. But this is when things get even creepier.
Okay, so we're leaving. We got all of our stuff packed. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, we're out here. Rachel's already in the car. I'm leaving, like, I don't know what's going on.
As Chase is gathering their luggage, the bedroom door slams shut right behind him. And again, it begins to move back and forth, this time even faster than before. Chase says that he still has no idea what could have caused the strange movement of the door. Some video commenters believe that this was the ghost of Rachel's recently deceased grandpa, but some think it might have been something more sinister that had taken up residence in the house. But what do you think? The follower.
You know what's fucked up? Is I bet that guy was all like, babe, I know that your grandpa just died, but we could make this banger TikTok right now. It honestly though,
that's fucked up, but honestly that's probably true.
That's exactly what I think it is. Like it like
I
she
think it's just air pressure. Like, you can think that there's not a draft. You literally can't know. Like, if there's any form of any air moving through a room, that can happen.
Yeah, you could have it just with the
And I
AC
think
on.
it is.
Yeah, and like the sound of the door, that sounds like it's literally like a default sound that you can get like off of any kind of editing app.
True. I didn't even think about
and
that.
Also, tell me where the other person is when he opens that door the
Well,
first time.
Well, not only that, but like in my head, if they really thought this was something paranormal, why
They would
wouldn't
not be so calm?
they?
They
Yeah.
just wouldn't film it. They'd just leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, even if they were
I
gonna
think it's
film
just a
it,
draft.
Like, why are there pillows on the ground too? Because
even if
What
they
the
were
heck?
gonna, even if they wanted to film it, because if this happened to me, my first instinct is, okay, well, I'm gonna film it more. I would set up a camera outside the door too, because like
yeah,
you're not I don't know. And like you said, his whatever the girl's name is, she's not in this frame. She could be behind the
It's
door,
supposedly in the car, yeah.
or they could just have a third person there. It's not hard
Mhm.
to fake it.
No.
But I
also don't want to be disrespectful and discount their experience because I'm sure in the moment that was like absolutely terrifying.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would be scared if that happened in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
What I would
If
probably
somebody
do
were
is
breaking
open the
in.
door. I would just open the door and prop it on both sides
Mm-hmm.
so that it can't slam shut over and over
But
again.
also thinking back to like the witchcraft thing. If so like somebody rings your doorbell or like somebody knocks on your door, you're not expecting company, you don't open that door.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there is something there, you're inviting it in essentially.
Mm. It's like when people
Which is
post videos where they're like, "This cursed doll showed up and I brought it into my house." I'm like, "You're an idiot."
yeah, put that shit back.
I'm like, "Don't touch it. Grab it
Put
with
it
a
back.
stick.
Yeah,
Put it in a forest."
put it back. No, that's why I don't even have a welcome mat in my house because I don't fuck with that.
I have a mat. It doesn't say welcome on it, but
Yeah, my welcome mat says shoes off. That's it.
Shoes off.
Well, it says shoes off, witches.
in Tombstone, there's a sign on one of the bars that says politicians scrape shit from shoes before entering, and I'm like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Honestly, like, I think it's just an airflow thing, personally.
Yeah, I think they know it is too. That's why they try to set up all these different things to try and stop the door from moving. And again, I think that
So
he's
wait
trying.
till he opens it. I want to see if there's a person. Because he opens it relatively slowly.
Well, this is in slow mo.
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Oh yeah, and he doesn't even check the left side, so there could be a person on that left side too.
Yeah. I mean, I get where you're coming from with the whole, we don't want to discount their experience. And if they're scared.
When it's the middle of the night, it's not going to feel good.
No. Well, and I definitely think that if people are scared in today's day and age, they still pull out their phone.
Yeah.
Sadly, we see that at fights and other horrendous things. People who are scared still pull out their phone. So I don't think that's
what if it's a fight video? I want to see it.
Well, right, but I think that I can't remember who said it earlier, but like they would just leave. I think it's still people are now in the nature of trying to document these weird experiences, or just almost as like an accountability to tell people like, see, look, I told you. But
oh yeah,
just the way that it's presented, like it gives me this guy is trying to make content.
Yeah, I feel like there's not enough panic, especially in the woman. Like, I feel like there's not enough.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
There's too much calm. Yeah.
Well, and she's too wrote off about it. She's all like, "Oh, are you really doing this?" Like,
yeah. It almost is like something that's probably happened before, and she knows what it is, but she doesn't have the heart to tell her husband.
Right. Or she's just like, he's trying to do his thing. Like, this will be good for his channel or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just roll with it. But like tying it to, I made the joke that he's trying to make some banger content off her grandpa passing away. Like, that's what it looks like. Like, you can even see him at the end. He's literally live on TikTok or something talking about it through his glasses. Yeah. Like, he's trying to make content out of something that has multiple explanations.
Making a buck off of somebody's misery.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on.
And then, like, the door closing behind him, and then doing the same thing again. Where's the other person? Where's the wife? She's
in that door.
For real.
Right, let's see what this next one is.
The follower. It's around 5:30 in the morning and two girls are on a hike through the mountains in the Philippines with a large group. The girls stop a little too long to take some pictures and accidentally get left behind by the group. The girls run to catch up with the other hikers as one of them films, but her camera captures something truly bizarre.
Naliligaw kami, guys! Naliligaw! Wala ni mga kasama namin! Wala yung mga kasama namin. Kailangan namin silang habulin kasi maliligaw kami. Gagi, malayo na sila. Wala na.
Did you see it?
I mean, there's for sure someone following them, right?
As the two girls run
Yeah,
along the mountain trail, way back in the background,
Literally be
some
there.
strange shadow figure seems to be following them. But a little bit later, the mysterious dark figure has just disappeared. The girl who posted this
Because
video
they're
says
not
that she and her
running,
friend
too.
were completely alone and they have no idea
yeah.
who or what this could be. She says that she only noticed the shadowy figure when she watched her video back later. So, what do you think? Was someone stalking them through the remote woods? Or just
Probably.
what is this?
I mean, that doesn't
You
make
decide. Or
it
it
could be-
natural, though.
One of their friends in a black robe
Well,
that
that's
supposedly left them.
that's the one thing that I always tell people who like want to go out and do paranormal or want to go out and like see something scary or whatever. The scariest thing is running into other people.
Oh yeah.
Like
'Cause
absolutely
you don't expect
horrifying.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
well, and people are fucking crazy. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, if someone were to tell me that they found out that there was someone stalking them or stalking their hiking group, just being a weirdo, that makes complete
It
sense to
reminds
me.
of like an episode of Sam and Colby that I watched a few days ago that they uploaded.
Trying to see if we see anything weird. I mean, you can definitely see there's
It doesn't
something.
look-
It doesn't
For me, it
necessarily
almost
look
doesn't
like a
look
person,
human.
though.
Yeah, it looks like an animal, maybe.
Yeah.
And I don't know where are they at again. Philippines.
Yeah.
Also, like, right there, like, it's gone again, and then it's
Yeah,
there.
and then it shows up again. Gone. And it's
Also,
back.
like, you can't even see the person behind her's head, so clearly
Yeah.
the camera's not great.
And it's dark. It's 5 a.m. My first question is, why are you hiking at 5 a.m.? I'm not even awake.
To
yet.
be fair, like, if you're going on a really long hike, you need to start really early or it'll be so hot
Yeah.
by the time that you...
True.
I don't buy it necessarily, though. Could be an
So,
animal,
in other
could be a
words-
bad camera.
Bullshit is what you're saying.
Yeah, I definitely don't at all think it's paranormal, but I definitely
No.
think that there's something, whether it be camera
There is
related
something
or
there, yeah.
animal, or maybe it's even perspective. Maybe that lady or
Mhm.
whoever's behind her has
Mhm.
something or is holding something.
Yeah, like I was
Mhm.
thinking it could be like just the way that the backpack looks at some
Yeah.
points in the camera. I don't know.
Maybe.
It always seems fairly close to the person behind her,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like you can't even
Like
see
a
it
shadow,
every
maybe.
time.
I don't know.
Definitely could be
But
a
it looks
shadow.
like the sun is going behind them.
Yeah,
So shadows would be going the opposite way.
Yeah, but then she's got the flash on her phone or camera or whatever going. And it
I
could
like
be
right
the
there.
other
It just
person's
looks
shadow.
like one person. Like it
Yeah.
looks like part of one person. I don't know.
It's definitely a strange. I would say that's probably the strangest one we've seen so far. Just in the sense of
Yeah.
like, I think it's
There
probably
looks
an
like they're two
animal.
separate people. Yeah, it could be like. Yeah, I think an animal.
It could also just be
Probably,
a
yeah.
third person hiking with them.
Mm-hmm.
Not to make it not even interesting at all. And they just
They're being stalked by the cult. It's all right.
yeah. Happens to the best of us. Sometimes you just gotta run a little bit faster than your friend.
Yep.
But okay, hold on. Even slow-mo right here, though, look at how her hair kind of acts weird on the camera.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could just be trying to capture her in the background, and, like, it just can't figure out what
even
it's
like
capturing.
This, like, she's filming what's right in front of her, and it looks like garbage, so...
Yeah.
It's just dark, you know? Like, here's where they're saying it's disappeared already.
I know, but even, like, you see her hair, like, pixelating
yeah,
around.
Yeah, no, her hair. I mean, you can't even
Her friend's
see
a ghost.
Definitely interesting, though. Because, I mean, yeah, you can definitely see in that
looks like an
frame.
animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably a fucking dog. Excited to see some people, and they're trying to, like, get on their hike and leave the poor pup alone.
Poor doggy.
Yeah, take him with you.
Also, every time, like, I mean, I'm not saying, I don't know the credentials of, like, this YouTuber, but, like, he keeps providing context that's not in the videos, and I'm like, where is that context coming from? Where are you getting that?
Oh, he pulls all of it. So all these are user submitted.
Okay.
Yeah, so all the
That makes more sense.
he doesn't do
So kind of like
videos.
what the art book does.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
I mean, could be anything.
I think it's a pup, and they should have taken it.
Absolutely.
Could be a bear cub. In that case, keep running.
Yeah, keep running.
yeah.
Run faster.
Run faster. It's a moose.
Oh
no.
God,
Don't run from a moose.
no, they're so fast.
Survival 101. Do not run
You
from a
also
moose.
shouldn't run from a bear either. You should try and be scarier. But like if there's like a baby involved, like you don't know where things are, try and get out of there.
Yeah.
All right, here's our next one.
Let's see.
A guy named Brendan has a YouTube channel where he camps in his van in some strange and sometimes very dangerous locations across the UK. In this video, Brendan decided to camp overnight in the coastal village of Jaywick in Essex, England. Now, amongst other things, Jaywick is known as one of Britain's poorest towns and has a very high crime rate. In other words, it's not really the best place to be camping overnight in a van. But that doesn't stop Brendan.
A little town in England called Jaywick, coined as one of the most deprived towns in the UK. And I thought, seeing as I'm in the area, I just had to go and see it.
Brendan searches around and eventually finds a place to set up camp that is just outside of town and kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Listen to me. I'm alone, but I mean, there's no other houses around me, so it's not as if I'm alone in a housing estate.
Brendan sets up his bed in the van and lies down for a night's sleep. But around 2:30 in the morning, things take a terrifying turn.
I think someone's outside the back. That must do. Someone just tried the door. Hey!
Right, whoever the that was has now gone. I'm gonna get out of here. Oh my God. Oh, fuck's sake.
I can't see anything.
That's my phone.
Someone with a flashlight skulks around outside Brendan's van, trying the door handles, before smashing the window to get inside. Luckily, Brendan yells and sends the intruder running. He then hops in the driver's seat and just gets out of there. Brendan makes it out
0%
safe,
of
but
this
obviously is very shaken up by the whole ordeal. He decides to not only leave the town of Jaywick, but to drive all night, 3.5 hours, all the way back to his home.
I just, quite frankly, just wanted to go home. I was really, I wasn't in a good mind space.
Very astute fucking commentary
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
After cleaning a little bit of broken glass from my driver's seat and the dashboard, you'd be surprised how far glass goes when it smashes. I've been finding little bits everywhere, but the van was in no fit state to continue camping in, and nor was my headspace, should we say. So I made the long journey back home. I think it was a good 3.5 hour drive back to my house in Shrewsbury. Got there just before sunrise. Pleasant drive to say the least.
Despite this frightening encounter, Brendan still goes camping in his van and posts his adventures over on his YouTube channel, Brendan Explores. If you see something...
I don't... Very not paranormal. I wonder if he just put it... I wonder if he just put it on the list because it's
Probably some local crackhead or
Literally.
somebody trying to break in.
I guess
Someone
this...
just used an abandoned-looking van, like...
Yeah, and then parking in the middle of nowhere in a very high crime area.
Yeah, like, of course.
Yeah. So the
And
person
they had a flashlight. Like,
Yeah.
no part of the paranormal. They had a
Yeah.
flashlight
Yeah.
that broke his window.
I guess the title is 10 Scary Videos to Freak You Out. So I guess
Oh.
maybe that one
Well,
slipped
I guess
in
I'm
there.
a little freaked out. Like, if that happened to me, I'd probably get the fuck out of there too.
Oh, for sure.
My adrenaline would definitely let me drive 3.5, 4 hours back to my house.
If this Get Out doesn't have something related to the movie, then I'll be disappointed.
I gotta say, I those guys who can do that, like stealth camping shit, different breed. I couldn't do it. That people
I've camped in my car with another person.
people
I
freak
wouldn't
me
do it
out.
alone.
I'm way
Like,
more
this is
afraid of
always
people.
make sure you always have some kind of protection.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
lot of
100%.
people that I know that, like, people that post about living in their cars, they seatbelt their doors shut.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he got his window bashed in, so
For sure. I would. Yep.
yeah.
Couldn't be me. No way.
Nope.
A guy named Carter moved into a new fully furnished rental house. But not long after he moved in, he began to experience strange things and hear unexplained noises. Late one night while he's asleep in bed, he hears the creepy sound of what seems to be someone hitting keys on the piano in his living room.
Who's there?
Literally an animal in the
Carter
piano.
decides to lay on his living room couch to try to figure out just what is going on with the piano. As you might imagine, it did not go well.
Dude, what the f?
The piano
Okay,
plays again and a
that was
chair
true.
moves, and Carter decides that he's had about enough. He decides to leave the house to stay with a friend, but as he is leaving, he manages to capture this video.
Just mimic.
As Carter heads for his car, he sees his TV flickering and his lights randomly turning on and off inside his house. Now, usually when people watch these videos, they say, well, if the place is so haunted, then why wouldn't he just move out? Well, that's exactly what he did. Carter moved right out of that house. And the end of this haunted story, I guess. Hiding.
I actually,
Alright, well,
I respect that. You don't ever hear that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've definitely, like, listened to people on podcasts that insist they have, like, spirits living in their homes where they're like, yeah, sometimes he'll just show, like, they talk about it so casually. They're like, yeah, sometimes he throws shit at me. I'm like, what?
I mean,
What do you mean he throws shit at you? They're like, yeah, like he'll just throw something off the counter at me. I'm like, when you're alone?
That's crazy.
I was like, I'd be gone. Also, I would not be sleeping in that room. Like, nope.
Oh, I see the string.
Yeah.
It's on the far left leg.
I was like, I'm looking for the string.
Far right, I guess.
This one?
Yeah. You see the little tiny glint of it.
I mean, I see a glint, but I don't know if it's a string because when the chair moves,
Yeah.
the glint is in the same spot. It doesn't move with the chair.
No,
I mean-
a little tiny glint that you can see as soon as the chair starts moving. That's horizontal.
I would have been on
I
board.
believe you. I can't see it, but I believe you.
I would have been on board with his paranormal experience until this, like,
Oh yeah.
and the lights flashing like that. Just all. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Because it doesn't say that he lives alone. It doesn't say that he lives with other people.
Well,
Let
not.
alone, that is a huge house. So.
I mean, look at this dude's living with his homies for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Like, he's got the bros over on a constant basis, and like it's not hard to fake paranormal.
No, it's not.
No.
Like,
I mean,
I
that's
think that's
the
the sad
bummer
thing.
is like, whenever I watch these videos, like, I'm like, could this be faked?
The
Yes.
trash
And I'm
on
like,
it,
I
copy
would like
people on
to
the side.
assume that the people posting it aren't faking it, but if they're sending it to a dude that posts paranormal shit, like,
It's
they want, yeah.
They want that out, yeah.
Yeah, they want
No.
to be validated. I mean, not saying that people who actually experience stuff also don't want that validation to not feel crazy.
sure,
Oh yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Okay, well, I think we're gonna wrap up here. We're at an hour for the episode, and I try not to
Oh,
go
yeah.
over an hour for this unless we're doing like an actual podcast. So, thank you guys for joining me.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely have to do more of these, as well as get some longer form podcast-esque videos out talking about different witchcraft and different opinions on things. It's always nice to broaden horizons and opinions. Everyone watching, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.